Hello everyone, Justin here, and today we're going to draw a koala bear, and I'm going to use a pen to begin with, a Sharpie marker, and then go ahead and shade it in pencil, so kind of a combined technique. So let's just go ahead and start by drawing the nose, just a oval shape but kind of squarish at the bottom here, and I will leave a little bit of a highlight here in the upper left. And just go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and darken this because its nose is black. We're gonna do most of our shading with a pencil, and go ahead and draw the eyes, which are just off to the side, slanted a little bit, almond shape, just like that. And just go ahead and put a small highlight there in the upper right and over here, so the head is tilted a little bit this way. So his left eye will be just a little bit higher. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw the top of the head, which will be right here. Let's just draw a curve. And then the mouth, let's just draw a line that comes off the bottom of the nose. And this will actually be kind of like the chin area. And I'm gonna draw some short lines to show that there's a shadow there, and kind of obscured the outer lines here as well. Okay, so the chin, the bottom of the head then will be like right here. So we'll have a angled line that goes out to the right, which will then curve upward. Okay, and the left side will be right here, just a line, short line. And let's go ahead and draw the ears. So they're gonna come off, and they kind of curve down a bit, and I'm gonna use these separated lines just to show that the edges of the ear are actually not even because of the hair that form the outline of the ears. And continue on the head outline up here again with some scribbling lines. Alright, so we'll add more shading here in a bit. Okay, so let's continue on by drawing the left side of his body, and then the neck comes off this line off to the right with just a gentle curve, and then the rest of the back a bigger curve. Coming off here then will be the arm. So let's just draw a gentle curve out to the left past his chest here, and then let's start here with his wrist, kind of narrow, and it gets wider and go farther to where the shoulder would be. So you've got this narrowing arm, and it then goes to the hands here. So let's just give it some thickness here, and he actually has these claws, which we'll go ahead and darken, leaving a light edge here. And then draw another toe, again with a hook, a claw, and then finally one more hook that kind of comes out a bit more. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this part here. So this part would actually be his other arm, and his chest would come out, let's say right here. So let's continue over to his belly, which would be like right here, which is kind of a continuation of this. And then the leg will abut the upper arm, and so we'll just draw a line that meets it right there and then starts going down. Okay, and then turn into a foot here, just like the front feet. And again, let's go ahead and form the foot here to kind of like its wrist here, his ankle up, and then this is where it bends, and we'll just kind of meet up with this bottom. So the other arm then will kind of come this way, and this will all be in shadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a cast shadow here and just darken this with some parallel lines. And I'm gonna do the same thing actually with his right arm, just to show that it's farther back, and cross hatch it a little bit just so it's not all even, and maybe add a little bit of shadow underneath the chin, and put this belly in shadow as well. Okay, so I'm just adding some shadow now with my pen, but once we do some shading, we'll add to it with a pencil. Again, just parallel lines. And a little cross hatching just to give it more form, add a little bit of a gradient, and maybe a couple lines here, kind of like to show a little bit of form here as well, form shadow, and same thing with the head. Alright, so just like the front feet, we're gonna add a toe right here and a claw, and another one. Let's just go ahead and draw the claws first this time, and then a front claw right there. So then we can go ahead and connect those with a couple lines, and that quickly indicates some of the toes. So let's just go ahead and kind of form the trunk of this branch, or the edge of this branch that he's sitting on. And I'm gonna just do a quick scribbly pattern here to quickly show this bark, the bark of this branch. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and also make his bottom a little bit thicker here. I think I made it a little bit too thin. So you can always vary or change up your drawing as needed, correct things as needed. And more scribbly lines here to show that he's on some kind of structure. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start shading, and I'll start by darkening all these shadow areas that we had covered up with our pen, and just kind of darken those whole areas, give it a more even tone. And start giving him some medium tones. And I'm just gonna do this fairly quickly. So what I've done here is I basically just covered the whole area with some midtones, not really caring about which direction that I did that first layer. But now I'm gonna add a second layer, and that just helps to hide some of the pencil marks and kind of even out our initial shading. And I'll go ahead and put our second layer right now all over. I'm not going for realism here or making the pencil marks disappear. It's kind of like a rough, quick, sketchy style, but we're gonna just add some more form by adding some various tones of shading here. So I've switched to my softer lead pencil, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just start adding some form shadow just to give this bear more of a three-dimensional quality. So like this area here, I'm gonna just make it a little bit darker. I'm not gonna go for a lot of detail as far as the hair, and so I'm not gonna worry too much about the direction of the lines, but you know, when I can, I do try to keep my pencil strokes along the same direction as what the hair would theoretically be going. In this case, this bear has very short hair, so it would be kind of difficult to tell anyway which direction the hair is going. So I'll either try to follow the curve of the body part, say like right here, this is curving this way, or you could say it's curving this way, and so I'm kind of following those lines as far as the direction of my pencil strokes. So right here I'm gonna darken the shadow area again a little bit more and improve the gradient from the shadow to our midtones here. So I'm gonna kind of blend in that area a little bit more and darken our deep shadows more as well. So here, let's go ahead and work on the upper legs or arms and just give it some more depth by darkening the lower parts of the arm right here. And notice that I'm just going whatever direction, and as I need to make something a little bit darker, I'll just go over it again, and that automatically just makes it darker. You can also, of course, increase your pressure. So like right here, I'm gonna just darken this part of his chest, make this cast shadow or this form shadow, the dark, really dark shadows here, really dark. And I'm gonna go ahead and add a gradient and lighten up on my pressure here. Now I'm gonna add some shadow underneath the head here. And I went outside of our line here, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the left side of his head a little bit darker and add some shadow. Make this part of his ear a little bit darker. And underneath the chin will be kind of darker as well. And here I'm gonna, as we get to the face, I'll try to be a little bit more careful now as far as some of the lines. You wanna focus on the face usually. That's usually the most important part. And if you're gonna add more detail, that's where you would kind of concentrate on. And if they have big, large eyes where you can add detail, that's also another place to add more emphasis and more time. Okay, so here I'm actually doing shorter lines, again just to emphasize the head a little bit more, and going with the direction of the hair with my pencil strokes. You don't have to do this, but I figured why not. Okay, and more here to the outside of the eye. And then I'm going to darken this part of his ear as well. Still continuing with short lines. And then continue the edges of his ears here with lines coming off the pen marks that we had initially put in. Okay. Alright, let's darken this area around the right side of his head just to give it more form. Add more form shadow and darken the area underneath the eyes a little bit more, like right here. And more directional lines, short directional lines by the cheeks, kind of indicate some of the hair, the really short hair. And that's pretty much it. This is just a quick rough sketch of a koala bear, and we're pretty much done. I'm just gonna add a little bit more color to the tree branch here that he's resting on, and just really rough sketchy type scribbly lines here, and we're done. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. Suggestions are always welcome, and I'll see you next time. Thanks and have a great day.